So quick one, right? We just received a few messages, and they were basically talking about the timing. So some are saying, I'm trying to read and then talk to you at the same time. Some are saying um, they they just close from work, and then how do we handle that? And then we also made mention that we are not going to. I hope you cannot hear me.
Yes, please.
Yeah, so we made mention that we are not going to share the recorded message with you or upload it on our YouTube channel for anyone to go back and watch it, so that we don't miss the sessions. Um, we are still going to stick with that, but with this issue, what do you guys think? Should we reconsider the timing? And if yes, what would you recommend? What time would you recommend? Don't forget, there are others that are with us from Zimbabwe. There are some from Nigeria. There is someone also that want to join from US. So kind of different, not only in Ghana. So if you are, maybe consider yourself and suggest something, but then also have in mind that we are not entirely Ghanaians that will be joining the meeting. So what do you think we can do? Any suggestions for us? Hello. Yeah, good. Elliot.
Yeah, good evening. So for those from those who are not from here, uh, I think you can set a time for them if they aren't able to join the live sessions, and then share the recordings with them for a particular time frame, and then you can take it off, since we also aren't given access to the recorded
Okay.
ones. So you can grant them like a 5 hour access or a 1 day access, so that they'll be able to watch it when they are free. And
Okay.
then when that time passes, you cut off the access or something.
All right. All right. Thank you. Maybe you consider that. Okay. So let's get started. But if you have any other thing to say in regarding that, once we are done, there will be a time for question and answer. So you can also share your suggestions as well if it's regarding the timing for us. So yeah, once again, you are all welcome to tonight's section, and this is officially the first live session. The first one was onboarding, but then we are here to learn about our finances, and then this particular week, which is today, everything that we'll be sharing here is basically the foundation of everything also that will be happening in the subsequent weeks. So we want to really understand our experiences with money, where our beliefs with money are coming from, the habit that influences our financial decisions, and then everything that happens regarding our money, finances, and if you get money today, you thinking, oh, I have to buy this, or I have to do this with the money. What are the triggers for this? You really have to understand, and this is going to be the fundamentals of everything that we will be doing. So we encourage everyone to really pay attention, participate. If you have any questions, just write that down, and then when we get to the practical parts today, is going to be lively questions, and if you have anything, then you should be able to ask there. So yeah, let's get into it. Ahmed, if you can hear me, then pick it up from us, and then let's get through.
Okay, thank you so much, Sebastian. First of all, please, I hope I'm loud and clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so good evening, everyone here. First of all, thank you so much for joining us on our first ever session of this cohort. We appreciate you for that. We appreciate your commitment, your dedication towards this cohort. Okay, and just as my partner Sebastian said, tonight and next week we are going to focus on the foundation of money. I know most of us, just as I said during our onboarding session, we applied for understanding how we can manage our finances, to understand how investment works so that we can start investing and all that. And as I said, we are going to dive into it in the latter weeks. But then for tonight and the next week, we want everyone to understand the basic fundamental human behavior towards money. And in fact, I believe that when it comes to financial intelligence, the core fundamental aspect of financial intelligence is the psychology of money. I remember, as I said in the onboarding session as well, I joined an organization, the Young Investors Network, when I was on campus at the university. And it's a great organization. But one thing that I realized was they were more focused on savings, budgeting, investment, how to manage your finances and all that. But then there was one key factor that was lost, which is understanding your behavior towards money. What are some of the limiting beliefs that you have against money? So tonight we are going to dive into it. And as I said, I expect everyone, when we are at the question and answer session or the discussion session, we encourage everyone to be really active, ask questions, share your opinion so that we can have an engaged session. This is not going to be like a lecture. I'll say what I have to say, but after that, when we are in the practical aspect, we expect every person to contribute. So let me share my screen and then we can just dive into it. Hello, please. I hope you can see my screen.
Yes, please.
Okay, so this is the first workbook and it is focused on 1 and 2, as you can see on my screen. So once we are done with tonight's session, we're going to share week one's workbook with you, which you are expected to work on the exercises and submit by Sunday, so that as facilitators, we can review it and then share feedback on that. So once we are done with tonight's session, we are going to share it with everyone here. And in case you don't really understand anything or you've forgotten any aspect of it, once we share the workbook, you'll be able to gain the insights, and then you'll be able to learn, recollect whatever that we discussed tonight, and then you can start with the exercises. So okay, so as I said earlier on, the key focus for week 1 and 2 is for our members to understand what really is money before managing money. And also, by the end of week 1 and 2, our core learning goal is to help our members develop deep awareness of your financial behavior, beliefs, and decision patterns before we can introduce you to control systems in week 3 and 4. And we have some key outcomes that we expect everyone to be impacted on. Committed members only. So by the time we are done with week 1 and week 2, we expect every committed member to understand how beliefs and habits influence our money decisions. And we should be able to see clearly where our money comes from and where it goes. And when it comes to our finances, we should feel less confusion and anxiety. And most importantly, we should be able to build financial awareness about our finances without any pressure to fix everything at once. So this is our first session. So let me use this opportunity to talk about how to use this workbook. So this workbook, we design it to be written in it or to be edited in it, not just to be skimmed through it. If you only read through the workbook, then that means that maybe you become financially informed or financially literate, but then you are not going to be financially intelligent. The only way you can you can see the difference in whatever that we are going to discuss is when you take action. So we expect, first of all, that you use your real income and spending figures so that whatever that we can give you the right feedback. Because if you use an assumption, let me use maybe a fake figures, then that means that it's not going to reflect your. So please don't try to impress anyone with whatever that you are going to provide in this workbook. Try to be honest so that we can provide recommendation based on something fake. So by the end of this week, after tonight's session, and then by the time you are done with the exercises in this workbook, what is for you to be able to say something like, I now see my beliefs and triggers clearly. I know my actual numbers without any judgment. And then by the time, I want every member to be able to say something like, I see why I do what I do with money. I now take responsibility and I choose my next step as well. Is the behavior tracker. So in this workbook, they want to be tracking for 14 days or for the next 2 weeks. So an example is maybe checking your account balance daily, maybe tracking your expenses, maybe pausing before unplanned purchases, or maybe saving a specific amount. We want you to pick any financial behavior. So every day you have the workbook, we are going to indicate maybe day one, did I practice this behavior? If yes, you indicate it. If no, you indicate it. And if there's any observation, then you can input it in the observation column as well. So this is just to help you build financial habit as well. And as we said, the workbook is more practical. So everything that we are going to do is practical. Take action, and then you start seeing results in your finances. Okay, so let's start with week 1, and that is awareness and reality. So tonight we are going to discuss the money beliefs and then your financial truth. I'll walk everyone through this, and then once we are done, I'll allow question and answers, and then I'll explain how the exercises are in the workbook and how we are expected to do it, and then we can dive into the practical session. Daniel, please, you said you can't see my screen. Yeah, hello, please.
Yeah,
is there one else?
It went off and then it came back, so I believe you can see now.
Oh.
Please, can you confirm if you can see that? Okay, good. Let's continue.
Okay. I'm coming. Let me enlarge it a bit so that everyone can see it loud and clear. Okay. So I hope now it's clear and everyone can see and read it as well.
Yes.
Okay. So as I said, we are starting with our money beliefs and our financial truth as well. And one thing I can say is, whilst we are going through this, please try to reflect, try to think way back into your childhood and all that, so that you can really understand what we are going to do. Now, for every live session that we do, we start with the core truth to explain the basic assumption of whatever that we are going to discuss. And for tonight, the core truth is simple. When we talk about money, it is a tool and not a scorecard. That is what I want you to understand for now. When we talk about money, simply see it as a tool and then not a scorecard. Now, when we talk about money as a tool, what do we simply mean? Okay. Now, money was created to help us solve specific problems and also create opportunities for us. Money is a resource that should help us to be able to cater for our loved ones, to cater for ourselves, invest in ourselves, get whatever that we want, okay? But then subconsciously, most of us, what we do is to use money as a scorecard. We tend to attach our identity with money. So if you maybe you start to think something like this, I am earning a lot of money, so I am successful. Or that my friends and colleagues are earning a lot of money, so I am behind. Or something like, I need to be buying phones, or I need to be living this lifestyle so that people can see me to be rich. But then most of the times, it doesn't really relate with who you really are. So when we talk about money, see it as a tool. that can help you to achieve whatever that you want to achieve. But then don't associate your identity with money. So don't see money as a scorecard, because it can create pressure for you. Whenever that you receive your salary, the first thing that will come into your mind is, I need to buy this, I need to buy this clothing, so I need to visit this restaurant so that people can see me that I am successful. And when you do that, most of the times it's going to create financial pressure onto you, and there won't be any progress when it comes to your finances. But then when you see money as a tool, then it's going to simplify everything for you. Now, let me give you a scenario. Two people can be working at the same company, earning the same salary, let's say 5,000 cedis. But then by the 15th of the next month, after both have received their salary, one will be in financial calamity, but one will be composed and calm, because one sees money as a tool. So he only spends money on his needs and what he wants. But the other person sees money as a scoreboard. So immediately he or she receives her salary or his salary, the first thing that comes to mind is, I have to spend on this and this. And then by the 15th of the next month, he's in financial pressure. And then what happens? Because the person is financial pressure, the next option is the person to borrow. So the person sees wealth as two formula. The first one is my salary or my income plus debt, because always the person is in need of cash, and then the person will have to go and borrow for their needs. Now, let's talk about our money programming. Let me pose a question, and then I expect feedback. So I need a feedback on this. You can unmute yourself, and then you can answer me. The question is simple. I want you to reflect way back into your childhood. How was money perceived in your family? Was it a source of happiness, enjoyment, or it was a source of scarcity, or it was like scarce in your family? I want you to answer this question, and then you can simply or briefly explain why you perceive money as a source of enjoyment or freedom, or a source of pain and unhappiness. So please kindly unmute and then ask or share your thoughts on this. Anyone? I just need one or two person, and then.
Okay, hello, good morning.
Okay.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening to you. Thank you for this opportunity to learn. And so in my family in the past, for now, I consider that money is seen or viewed as being in high status. Like as somebody, if you have money, then and I'm like you're in high status and you are of more value when the money I have for you is a lot.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. So in your family, money was associated with status, and that is very good. I'll talk about this later. Anyone else, anyone to share his or her opinion or experience when it's come to money before I move on? Oh, we all have story to share when it's come to our finances. For instance, when I was a kid, I used to assume that people with luxury car or house, automatically they are very rich or wealthy. But then when I started understanding how money really works, I understood that, oh, that was a wrong belief, because not everyone with luxury car or expensive house is really wealthy. Some, because of the way that they do, they have opportunities that enables them to have all these luxuries. But then once that employment is being cut short, then they start living from paycheck to paycheck. That was one of my limiting beliefs when I was a kid. So anyone to share his or her experience before I move on? Okay, so very soon when we are at the practical, I think I'll need to ask this question so that everyone can answer this question. Because I see it as sometimes we don't even reflect on something like this. We just grow up and then we have what I call the money stream, which is the internal belief system that influences how we see money, how we see investment, budgeting, and all that. So now let's come back to the money programming. And as I said, I want you to think back to your childhood. Was money scarce at home, or was money in abundance? And this experience alone, during your childhood, if you're in a family where money is in abundance, the way you see money is different from someone who always had trouble with money when he was growing up. Now, let me try to explain this. Because when you are growing up, always money is in abundance. Whatever that you need, your family provide for you. Whenever that there is fees to be paid, your family pay without any hesitance. You grow up, see money as a tool for enjoyment, see money as a tool for getting whatever that you want to get. And most of the times, because you've been spending money whenever that you want, when you grow up, immediately you receive your salary, you see money as a tool for enjoyment, you see money as a tool for freedom. So you just spend anyhow without even trying to track your expenses or whatsoever. Now, if you're growing up and then money was in scarcity, your story is a bit different from the other one. Now, for you, when you grow up, you won't like spending because you've been integrated with this belief that when I spend money, that means very soon I'll be broke and then I'll start suffering. So I only need to spend when I have to spend. Please, I hope this is clear. That is some of the beliefs that has been limiting us, that, because when I was growing up, my family used to save a lot. They only spend when they have to spend. So you grow up, you are earning 10,000 cedis, but then spending 50 cedis, it's like you are killing yourself. You feel uncomfortable. Now, I can say this for a fact that you have a lot of friends. We all have a lot of friends and colleagues who either spend money anyhow or they don't like spending money at all. And then even sometimes we look at them and be like, hey, this guy is really, I don't even know the word to say. Maybe this guy is really crazy when it comes to money. He likes spending money anyhow. Or this person doesn't really like spending money. He's very frugal when it comes to money. Now, we might not understand them, but then based on their experiences when they were growing up, it is that experiences, that culture, that environment that shape their belief towards money. Now, let me use this example to elaborate more on this. Now, for us Ghanaians, me, I was not there, but then based on history, I read that in 1983, there was an economic crisis that reshaped the entire generation. There was scarcity, there was drought, there was bushfires, high inflation, and mass unemployment. So people, whenever that they have money, it's like, hey, you can't waste any money. You have to make sure that every cedi that you have, you spend it when you have to spend. So for that generation, they will grow up believing that people, if you come to them and tell them that, hey, you have a lot of money, invest so that your money can be working for them, they'll be like, no, I'm not going to invest. And you might not understand them because drought, bushfire, high inflation, and mass unemployment. There's no way they'll be spending money anyhow. Now, let's come back to us, the Gen Z, the current. Oh, yes, it's very easy to make money. I mean, there are a lot of sources of income. In fact, if not anything, tomorrow morning, you can go to the circle, whether Kumasi or Waso market, just go there. Try to do any kind of job, and I can say for a fact that by the time it's 6 p.m. at least, you've earned 200 cedis. This is what I mean by that. Because money is in abundance in our era, we tend to spend freely. We tend to spend just to be recognized by our friends. We tend to spend anyhow so that we can post on social media and all that. So when you compare these two generations, one generation believe that for money, you only have to spend it when you have to. And then another believe that money is a tool for freedom. So I need to spend it whenever that I earn it. And then it has implications for those who don't like spending money. Even when there's an investment opportunity for them, they are not going to invest because they don't really, and they don't even see it like that. Their perspective is so much different. Now, for us, the Gen Zs, because we like spending anyhow, it's very easy. It's very difficult for us to track our expenses. And that is why when you budget, you always find yourself spending above your budget, because that is what we've been programmed with. And this is why tonight's session is really important for you to reflect, understand some of your limiting beliefs, so that the ones that are not working or that are working against you, you try to eliminate it, and then the positive ones, you try to adopt them. Now, before I talk about how money carries emotional weight, I have another question, and I want just one person to answer. Or this is even simple. What are some of the beliefs that we have about money? I know the famous one, which is money is the root of all evil. In as much as I don't believe in that, because I see like lack of money is the root of all evil. In another word, poverty is the root of all evil, not money itself. Okay, so what are some of the limiting beliefs when it comes to money? Anyone to share? Anyone?
Okay. I want to share. So what I know is that,
Okay.
what I've heard is that money makes you happy. That's what I've heard.
Yes, money creates
Money
happiness.
makes you
Happiness. Yes, you're also right. Anyone else to share some of the beliefs about money? Some of us, we believe that too much of money is bad. So even when there's an opportunity for us to earn more, we see, okay, Daniel, please, kindly unmute and then.
Hello, please, can you hear me?
Yes, you're loud and clear.
All right, so, excuse my language, which is money stops nonsense. Yes, because many people are in prison now that if they had money to pay lawyers or judges, not as in bribe them, but if they had money or the affluence, they wouldn't have been in some situations. So money stops nonsense.
Yeah, you are very right on this one too. Okay, thank you so much, Daniel, for sharing your thoughts. Hubert, please kindly unmute and then share some of the limiting beliefs.
Money. One belief I have about money is money controls people.
Yes, money controls people, and this is very well. I can't say it is true. It's based on people's experience. So maybe based on my experience, I can say yes, money really controls people. But then someone might not see it like that. Okay, and later on in the practical session, maybe we can discuss more about this. Now, let us talk about how money carries. Okay, Amos, please, you can unmute yourself and then share one of it.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Money exposes hidden characters.
Yes, money indeed exposes hidden characters. Because it's very true. People will be like, just you can't judge a poor person's character unless that person becomes rich. So it is some of the beliefs when it comes to money. So now you have to sit down. You can even list all the beliefs that you have about money. Sometimes there are some beliefs that it is unconscious, it is in our subconscious mind. We are not even aware of that. But then once you sit down to start listing them, and that is the purpose of the workbook. I'm sure there are some exercises there that will enable you to do that. So once you do that, you can start doing some audits. This belief, is it really beneficial? No. Then what is the correct one? This belief, is it good? Yes. Then let me keep this belief. This belief, no. Let me try to ignore it. Let me put in new beliefs. So try to audit your money beliefs so that you can have the positive ones, the ones that can lead you to wealth and not the ones that can lead you to poverty. Now, let's talk about how money carries emotional weight. Now, I know in SHS or universities, for those of us who learned economics, most of the laws start by saying that as a reasonable consumer, as a reasonable producer, or something related to that. I can say for a fact that when it comes to money, spending money, most of the times, it's not about how reasonable or intelligent you are, No, it's about your emotions. We spend money based on our emotions. Sometimes you go to work, you have a very stressful day. After work, you decide to spend like 200 cedis on KFC. And the excuse you give yourself is, Charlie, today I had a very stressful day. So why not spend rich on myself? After all, I deserve it. I worked hard for it. You see, so it's not like you feel like buying expensive food, but then the reason behind it is your emotions. You feel stressed, so you decided to spend money. And sometimes because you have followers on social media and you want them to see like you are successful, you tend to spend a lot of money on expensive phones, cars, clothing, and all that, so that you can post and people like, hey, Charlie, this guy is really successful, or this girl is really successful. So the emotion behind that is not like you really need the phone, but then it's because of the emotions. You want to prove to people that, yes, I am successful. So you end up spending on that. So when it comes to our finances, when it comes to managing money, when it comes to spending, it has nothing to do with you being reasonable. It is about your emotions. And if you are not able to really understand your emotions, it becomes very difficult for you to manage. And that is why you can budget. You can budget that I'll spend just 200 cedis within a week. But then you end up spending like 300 cedis because your emotions are the one directing you. Now, I know that some of us, but then let me say this, when it comes to the human brain, we have two systems. We have the system 1 and then the system 2. The system 1 is very fast, intuitive. I mean, if I ask you right away that 1 + 1 is what, I'm not sure you are going to think, oh, 1 + 1. No, you just say 2 because you know the answer. So it is intuitive. That is the system 1. Hubert, please, do you have a question? Hubert, you've raised your hands. Do you have any question?
No, please.
Sorry. Okay, thank you. No problem. So let's continue. As I said, the human brain, we have system 1 and 2. The system 1 is more intuitive. If I ask you, what is today's date? You just say it because you know it. But then if I ask you to explain the difference between this and this and that, that is when your system 2 comes in place. That one is more intentional. It is thoughtful. So it's going to think, elaborate, and then bring out the answer. When it comes to our finances, especially when it comes to spending, most of the times, the spending, the system 1 takes control. So we are working, and then we saw some nice shoe. It was never part of our budget, but because it was nice, the system 1 will be like, Charlie, buy. By the time you realize you've bought that shoe, in as much as maybe you don't even need it. And it's the same way, maybe you feel tired, your system 1 will automatically tell you that, hey, you feel tired, buy this to feel good. After all, you deserve it. So understanding all this will help you to make better financial decisions. And that is why I believe that when it comes to financial literacy or financial intelligence, you understanding your emotions, your behavior towards money is the most important aspect. Forget about the budgeting, forget about the savings. If you really can't control your behavior towards money, then even if you save, you keep on spending that savings. You can save 200 cedis today. Tomorrow, your behavior that spend on this, you go and spend it on that. So before you integrate systems so that you can be managing your finances, sit down to understand your emotions, sit down to understand your behavior, your limiting beliefs. That can enable you to understand why you spend money the way you do. If you understand it, it makes it easy for you to detect it. That, hey, this thing that I'm doing, it is not in my system, or it is not part of my behavior, so let me stop it, or something as such. Now, awareness dissolves shame. Some of us, we feel shame when we talk about our finances. We don't like to check our banks. We don't like to check our bank accounts. We feel shame or ashamed when it comes to our debt, about poor decision, about comparing ourselves to others. And then one thing I can say for a fact is this: that shame or that financial shame will only keep on growing in silence and secrecy. But then when you sit down to be intentional about your behavior, in fact, the shame will start to be dissolving because you are now aware of why you behave the way you do, why you are in debt, and then you start putting in systems in place to ensure that you avoid those ones. So one thing that I want you to note is this. Please, if you feel shame when it comes to financials, then start being aware of how you behave towards money. Be very intentional about that. When you understand your behavior, that judgment, how you used to judge yourself, will start to lose power. Now, money problems are often clarity problems. This is true. So we used to say this, oh, as for me, I'm very good with my money. Immediately I receive money, within some few days, 90% is gone. I'm very bad about money. But the truth is this, you are not bad with money. It's about clarity. Once you understand your behavior towards money, it makes things clear for you. I pushes me to spend. So I have to check or put my behavior in check, and it solves most of your money problems for you. How income does not equal financial health. Now, yesterday I was reading a book, The Millionaire Fast Lane by M.J. Dimon. One of the best books that I will recommend to you. And in case maybe you want to buy it, you can reach out to Anita. She's part of us here. She sells or she owns that. So yesterday I was reading that book and one sentence really stood out to me. In fact, I memorized it right there. It says that you cannot medicate. Let me put it in another word. You cannot control your poor money management with more money. So if you think that, oh, and I'm very poor with money, but then if I start earning 10,000 cedis, all these problems will be gone. I can say for a fact that that problem will never be gone. It will still be with you because you cannot control your poor money management with high salary or with more money. So if currently earn 2,000 cedis and you think that, oh, if I earn 4,000 cedis, I'll be okay, I can say that it is a lie or it is a big lie. What really matters is you being able to manage your finances well. And understand this, someone earning 10,000 cedis, but with poor performance will always be broke compared to someone earning 5,000 cedis, but then they know how to manage their finances well. So please don't integrate this mindset that, oh, once I start earning a lot of money, then all my money problems will be broke. If you don't believe it, once we are done with this cohort, search online about football athletes, musicians that went broke once they stopped earning money. People that have been earning millions of dollars, immediately they stop earning that salary. They go broke because they have poor money management. And most of the time they will file for bankruptcy because they are broke. So understand this, your income does not equate financial health. It is only about how you manage your finances. Time is moving fast. Now, for this one, I'll skip fixed and flexible expenses. Fixed expenses, some of the examples of fixed expenses are rent, loan payment, recurring subscriptions, and all that. And when it comes to flexible expenses, it includes food, transport, entertainment, and personal care. So one thing that I'll say about this is, for your fixed expenses, you have little control on that. Your rent is your rent, you have to pay that. But then when it comes to your flexible expenses like food, transport, you can try to manage it. So if you really want to manage your finances, start from your flexible expenses, your food, your transport, and other expenses as well. And I have to say this, and I believe this is really important. Unconscious spending compounds quietly. We all do this. I have done it before, and I'm sure we've all done this before. We think that if Charlie, I'm tired, let me just go and get some better mods, 10 cedis. Oh, 10 cedis is not anything. Let me just spend it. Keep on spending it. If you do that, do you know that? Let me even check it here. If you spend 20 cedis thinking that, oh, it's just 20 cedis, in a month, it's going to be 600 cedis. In a year, it's going to be 7,200 cedis. Now, this 7,200 cedis is a huge amount of money. But then you thinking that, oh, 20 cedis in Neshe, let me just spend it. I'm tired. I need to get something to energize me. And most of us, we are guilty of data. Or you spend 80%, 90% of your data, MTN will send you the message, oh, you are watching some telenovela, you are watching some K-drama, then you just buy 20 cedis. Oh, 20 cedis is nothing. Well, that 20 cedis in a year is 7,200 cedis. That 10 cedis better more that you've been spending 3 times a week is 1,560 cedis a year. So one thing I have to say is, don't underrate any money that you spend. Be intentional about it. Make sure that every city is working that you have, or if you want to contribute, share your experience, then this is the time to do that. You can raise your hands, I'll call you, you are mute, and then you can share or ask any question. Thank you. Minutes to go. So we have to be a bit, or if you want to share your experience, as I said, this is not about me talking. We also have to contribute. Maybe I explained some concepts, someone didn't really understand. But then when you share your opinion or when you ask question about that, and maybe I talk further about it, then more people will be able to understand. So please feel free. Let me share. I've talked about, I started with the core truth that money is the tool and not a scorecard. I talk about our program or our beliefs that are limiting us when it comes to our finances. And I talk about how money carries emotional weight. There's nothing about being reasonable or logical when it comes to spend it. It is about our emotions. I talk about the system 1 and then the system 2. And then I also talk about how being aware of your finances will dissolve any financial shame that you have. I talk about how many problems are often clarity problems and how income does not equal financial health. And I remember saying that you cannot medicate poor money performance or management with more money. So please, I'm waiting for any question.
Yeah, guys. So if we have any question, let's ask, right? So as we are waiting for your questions as well, I just want to share this. We really have to take this serious, understand, and then when we get to the other part, say the investment, then when you are investing, you will not put your money today and tomorrow is a money that you need to do something. Do you get it? Because if you understand your if you understand the everything, as in we are calling it the foundation, right? So example, you receive, let's say, some 100 cedis today, and then instantly, because you are eager to invest, then you are now going to put that 100 cedis into maybe any investment vehicle. Then the next day, you need money to do another thing. Then you are thinking, should I remove it? Then maybe at the end you end up withdrawing that money and then you are going to use it. Meaning that one, there is no clear plan on how much that comes in and what you are going to use it for. So you are just moving by, as you said, emotions. Until once you receive money, oh, what do I do with it? If you need something, you decide to buy with it, or you put it in investment and the next day or the next minute you are removing it again. That's why we really need to understand everything that we are sharing today before we move into the investment part. Yeah, so there is a hand up. You can continue. Yeah, hello, Amos. Is it Amos?
Yeah, Amos, yes.
Yeah, you can speak.
Yeah. So I want to take the opportunity to appreciate you guys for doing this. When Mr. Is it Tahiru, if I get it correct, is presenting, he has touched on some of the things that are inherent behaviors that I have experienced in the past, and these are little or minor character traits that are with us as people that are growing up, and then these are our is opening our eyes to some of them, because once money have come, you have to send that part of the money to buy some data for some girlfriend somewhere. We want to do some. I want to say kudos to you guys for putting up this together and then opening our eyes to the little inherent habits that we don't consider as anything that is eating away our money, eating away our long-term investment. So a practical example that he made was that if you were putting away 220 Ghana cedis every day for a month and for a year, you are making about 7,200. Who would thought that 20 cedis or 10 cedis a day could even amount to that in a year? That is an eye opener. And for me, 20 cedis data is nothing. Sometimes we even do more than that because you are in some series and they shot somebody and the data is freezing and we are realizing that the data is just going. You needed to watch that thing quickly, and 20 cedis didn't get you anywhere. So in your excitement, you are doing 40 cedis or 50 cedis led so that I can go far with this data. And it's some of the daily habits that has made us not think that we are earning enough. We are happy, we are bitter at our workplaces because we feel that we are cheated, we are given a lot, yet we are not being paid enough. But if we should begin to to jot down what leaves us and what comes in, we will actually be at a better position to know that, oh, so in a month I've actually had this, and this is how much I've spent. And then with that, you are able to plan better, you are able to make better decisions, and going forward, you are better informed. So thank you. Just a few to add. I'm so grateful.
Thank you so much. I just also want to add this with the data thing, right? Please, I don't know about other countries, especially those coming from, aside Ghana. And then also, in terms of Ghana, we have a lot of internet service provided. MTN is there, Telecel is there, but I'm talking for um, MTN because that's what I use. MTN has different data options that we buy. For everyone that buys data, I know everybody does, consider buying a better option. So there is one that I think is 399, right? And you get about 214 gig if I'm not lying. That will kind of take you longer than if you are to buy 20 CDs now, then you are going to get 3 gig or something. Then it finishes and then you are going to buy again. I would advise that everyone save towards getting the 399, which is like 400 CDs, and then you get something that you can use for a very long time. So that is it for me on the data part. Now, in terms of the buying 20 or spending without planning, this happens usually to people that kind of get money almost every time. Money is just passing through their hand. At the end, they'll be like, oh, I'm getting money, I'm really getting money. But then if you are to ask them how much they've saved, they will not be able to even mention anything that, oh, I have this saved anywhere. Just because they think money is coming today, is coming tomorrow. So every time or every day, they are going to receive money. So there is nothing tracking, and Once the work stop, as Amin said, the income stop coming, then it's like they have never even seen money or received money before. Okay, so let's take this serious once more, and then we will see ourselves at the other side. Yeah, so Ahmed, we can continue. Or if anybody has anything to share.
Please, you can share your thoughts and then we can move on.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Hi everyone. Good evening. Anita Delight here. Thank you to my good friend Ahmed and Sebastian. Amos, my accountability partner. That submission was great and funny as well. Thank you. I just want to say thank you because I can't believe that 25 years of my life and I have never thought about my limiting habits in relation to my family or my background. I'm so happy that I joined tonight's session because growing up in my home, money was always available. And so I just realized that my spending I this way. So I just want really excited for what is ahead and all the things.
Okay, thank you so much, Anita, for that submission. And in fact, thank you to everyone here who dive workbook. And then once we are done, we can have some 5 to 10 minutes open discussions, and then we can end it. So in the workbook, we are very, as I said, we are very intentional about everything that we do. So we provided a work example about every exercise before the exercise themselves so that you'll be able to do it. So now the first exercise is money beliefs excavation. This exercise uncovers the invisible rules guiding your financial life. So let's look at examples how Kwame completed this exercise. So the scenario is this. Kwame is a 24-year-old person, a national service personnel who earns 715 monthly. Unfortunately, here's how he filled out this exercise. Part A, childhood money messages. When you were growing up, how was money discussed in your home? For him, he said, only during argument or stress, discussed with shame or fear, secretly between adults. And I think I can experience what Kwame experienced, or I experienced what Kwame experienced, especially secretly between adults. It's normal. So look at what Kwame said. Money was only mentioned when my parents fought about bills or when we couldn't afford something I needed for school. It always felt heavy. And I'm sure we can all agree that this experience alone will shape the perspective of money in Kwame's life. Then the second one is complete these sentences based on what you heard or observed as a child. So money is survive. Talking about money is uncomfortable and it leads to arguments. Maybe you might think this to be funny, but I can say for a fact that if you sit down to reflect a lot or ponder upon your experiences, your past experiences, you realize that you have some of these beliefs, but then you are not even aware that you have some of these beliefs. Now, the third one is, what was your first memorable experience with money? I was 9 years old. I asked my mother for 5 cedis for a school trip. She started crying and said we didn't have it. I feel like I had hurt her by asking. From that day, I stopped asking for anything. I learned that wanting money made you selfish and caused people to love you and caused pain to people you love. So this alone, I'm sure, is going to look at how it has shaped him. So that this person will grow up and then like He only wants to get enough money just for himself and his family, but he doesn't want to become worldly because he thinks that it makes you selfish and it can cause pain to people that you love. That was his experience. So please, when we share the word group, you make sure that you also sit down, work on it, ensure that you have been harnessed so that if there's any update or recommendation we can provide, we do that. So now this is your turn. This is where you are going to be failing. Then when you're growing up, how was money discussed? You take the one that makes sense to you. Money, complete this sentence. Money is what? People who have money are, some believe that people who have money are selfish, or people who have money are corrupt, based on maybe our experience or perspective. Then what was your first memorable experience? How did this experience make you feel and all that? For the sake of time, I'm trying to rush through it a bit. But then in case you don't understand any aspects, after the session, you can reach out to me or my partner, Sebastian, and we can help you with that. Then the part B is current money beliefs inventory. Read each statement, mark true or false. The first one is, people who are good with money are smarter than me. Is it true or false? I will never be worldly. Some of us, we believe in that. Some of us, we believe that, sorry for using tree, that you feel for a higher, so we can never be worldly. So if you believe that, you can take it. If not, you can put in false.
Please translate that so that the non-Ghanaian will also understand, or those that cannot speak tree will also understand.
Oh, even in English, we have a saying for that. My village people. Because of my village people, I can never be. If you believe that, you can indicate true, if not false. Talking about money is uncomfortable or inappropriate. Sometimes we don't think about this, but then when you sit down to reflect, you realize that, yes, so whenever I'm discussing about money with my friends, I feel uncomfortable. Then rich people are greedy or selfish. There's never enough money. I'm skimming through some of them. Saving money means depriving myself. And for me, I believe this is the most dangerous one. Saving money means depriving myself. These are the people that says you only live once, YOLO. So immediately the money comes, they will start spending because they don't want to deprive themselves. And after that, we have an interpretation guide. So it says that if you mark 8 to 12 statements true, your belief system are this. If you mark 4 to 7, it means this. If you mark 0 to 3, it means this. So in fact, once you are, but please be honest here, don't try to impress anyone here. Please, we are not here to impress anyone. We are here to become financially conscious. So the interpretation is going to guide you. Now, this is what I really felt about Kwame. The beliefs transformation. The question is, choose one belief that feels most powerful or limiting for you. Kwame said that my most limiting belief is, if I have money, people will want something from me. Where did this belief come from? Watching relatives constantly asking my uncle for money after he got a good job. He started avoiding family events. I learned that money isolates you from the people that you love. This is unfortunate. How has the belief cost me financially? I sabotage myself whenever I start saving. I'll find a reason to spend it before it grows. I'm afraid of becoming that person who has to say no to family. What new belief will empower me instead? Having money allows me to help people I love from a place of strength, not obligation. Boundaries and wealth can coexist. So this is Kwame's belief transformation. And I believe once you do the exercise, you can also feel that part as well. So now it is your turn. Your money belief is, where did this money come from? How did this money cost you? You can also feel it as such. You submit it and then we can provide feedback. So all that I've discussed earlier on are exercise 1. We have part A, B, and I think C. Now, exercise 2 is the cash flow snapshot. And this is very, very important. So this is the work example. Amma is a 23-year-old service personnel. So income source, she says salary is 715. She has a side income, support transform, and the total monthly income is 1,215. Now let's look at her expenses breakdown. Rent or housing is 250. Food at home is 200. Food outside 280. Data and internet. So after all that, her total monthly expense is 1,450. So total monthly income is 1,215 and the expense is 1,450. That means that she has a deficit of 235. Now look at Amma's reflection. She said that I'm shocked. I didn't realize I'm spending 235 more than I earn every month. No wonder I always feel broke by the 20th of every month. The biggest surprise is food outside, 280 cedis. That's more than my rent. I always thought it was just 20 cedis here and there, but it adds up. I'm either using my parents' money meant for emergency, or I'm just not eating properly toward monthly, and this has to change immediately. So you see, based on the snapshot that she did, she realized that she has been overspending. She always has deficit. So now it is up to you. State, you also work on it, your salary, your gift. If you have any investment income, you indicate your total monthly income. The same for your expense. Then you work on whether you have surplus or deficits, and we provide that. And after that, we provided interpretation and reflection. No, this is another question, which is part D of exercise 2. Looking at this number, I will describe my financial situation as maybe clear but tight, unclear and stressful whatsoever. The second one is write one paragraph about what you see, what surprised you, what confirmed what you suspected, and all that. So these are the ones for exercise 2. And then we have interpretation guide for your gap. In as much as when you submit the workbook, we as facilitators are also going to provide feedback and recommendation. So that is it for the exercise for this week. Now, the community sharing prompts. So as I said, every Sunday after the 6th session, after working on the workbook, you can provide your prompts. So you have to share your earliest money scam. What you are expected to do is describe the specific moment when you learned something painful or limiting about money. Where were you? What was said? What did your younger self conclude in that moment, and all that? Now, look at this. It said, I stopped asking my mother for anything after she cried over 5 cedis. And today, I found I still spend 480 cedis monthly on Uber rides. That's 40% of my income on avoiding vulnerability. So starting Monday, he said, I am taking Trotro. I'm going to be part of the Trotro family. Okay, so at the end of this week, this is what we expect. You can use the prompt to also generate your feedback or your experience, share it on the page. Thank you. So that is it. This one is just a bridge into week 2. So for next week, we are going to focus or help you to understand why you are behaving towards. And once you see it, you will be able to gain the power to change it. Thank you so much. And let me answer Abigail right away. You said that if you don't have any source of income, how do you go about it? Yes, I know some of us are students, or some of us, we rely on our parents. So the money that our parents give to us starts with that one. Don't say that if one day I become rich, that is when I'll start doing that. The truth is, okay, charity begins at home. If you don't start right now, don't think that if you start earning millions of dollars, which I believe everyone here, God willing, in the future, we are going to have that. Okay. What I can say is start right away, whether it is income, whether it is allowances, any small money that you get, you can still use it to track. Even the little that you have, use it to track. When it becomes your habit, then things won't become difficult for you. So thank you so much. If there's any question, you can ask. If there's no any question, I don't know whether we should have the practical session, looking at time. So Sebastian, please come in.
All right. Thank you for the presentation. And yes, so in terms of your questions, any money that you receive once is belong to you, not that you've worked for it, but even if it's a gift, you can work with that. Okay, so we have a practical part to also walk you through, is like question and answers, but it's like we've taken most of the time, and this one we want to ask from you if we should do that, maybe 15 minutes.
Sebastian, I think even this one, it can take just 10 minutes or even 8 to 10 minutes. It's just 2 questions that I'm going to ask. And then, so just ask them if we can do that, then we can see the way
please,
towards that.
can you react to that? Maximum 10 minutes. Maximum 10 minutes. If you want us to go through that as well. Okay, so we have some few reactions. Ahmed. Yeah, Ahmed, let's quickly go through that also.
Okay, I hope you can see my screen.
Not yet. You are not sharing the other one.
Can you?
Yeah, we can see.
No, I'm sharing it. I'm sharing it.
Yeah.
It should be seen.
Yeah, we can see now.
Okay, so this is the practical intelligence way. So this is more interactive activities, simulations, and financial decisions exercises just to help you build what we discussed for the past 50 to 1 hour. Okay. So as you know, we are starting with the foundation, money behavior and foundation, understanding the financial decision behind your financial results. So this is a general question, and this time I expect everyone to unmute, share your thoughts, ask questions and whatsoever. So this is to help you understand your beliefs well, okay? So the question is, what money lessons did you learn growing up? If you remember, I said we'll come back to the question, so this is it. Okay, what did your parents teach you about money? What did your parents never teach you about money? Which belief still influences your today? So based on your family as environment and experience, I want everyone to share their experience or thought. So open discussion, you can unmute and then start talking. Okay, so I want my partner to start with this. So Sebastian, please start with the discussion. I want you to share your money lessons you learned growing up, what your parents taught you based on your family environment and experience. So I want you to take charge, and then the rest can follow up.
All right. So for me, it's not really the parents, but I would say the environment or the society. Okay, so one thing that you hear people around, I hear people around me say always is this, especially those that are well to do. They have their cars, they have a good house. It's like money is really flowing. The conclusion is that they are doing something bad or evil. So it puts that fear in you to even get closer to them. And then even thinking to get money, it's like if you get money, everybody will see you to be quote unquote, you are doing something bad. And so you have to really put in the effort to even do, because maybe you are thinking, or I'm thinking, once I do that and money starts coming, then they will tag me to be either doing a scam or doing something bad to get that money. And it has affected the way I think about money a lot.
Yeah, I think I kind of relate with you on this. Sometimes we tend to believe that, rich people or people with a lot of money did something bad, fraud, scam, or something. So we don't even want to associate ourselves with them. But then we all know that when it comes to wealth, it's good when you try to learn from people who are successful so that you can learn how they become wealthy. But if you try to avoid them, then how can you learn to become wealthy? So this is very important. Anyone else to share their experience? I know we all have experiences to share, our beliefs. Sometimes when you're at the university, SHS, maybe something happened or whatsoever. I know we have a lot to share. So please feel free, unmute yourself and then just share. We have about 8 to 7 minutes, then we can close.
Good.
Okay, Daniel.
Okay.
Yeah, please, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so growing up, for me growing up, I was taught that when you have a lot of money, or maybe when you have some money on you, and maybe you are hungry, and maybe let's say you are hungry, right? the money you should spend the money on you like on some food to eat rather than saving it for something else to do. So then maybe like maybe like when you're hungry per se, like you should rather spend most of the money on food. So like if you have money to buy food, then you should buy the food. And so that's what I've heard.
Oh, okay. Well, this just I think draws my mind to what we call budgeting or allocation. We'll actually get there in one of the weeks, right? So with this, I don't know how that was communicated, but uh, if you are hungry and you have money, why will you want to keep the money and you will not eat? But if you budget, but if you budget or you allocate your finances for uh, things that you need, your food or your fixed expenses, then you should fetch from the fixed expenses allocation rather than money that you allocated for maybe investment or something else, right? So we are actually going to get there in the coming weeks. Yeah. Any other? Amos, your hand is up. Okay, Ahmed, you too, you raise your hand.
Yes, I want to ask you something. What if that money is for a different purpose? Yes, I'm hungry, but then I planned that money to use it for something different. Does it mean that whenever that I plan and then I feel hungry, then I will have to go and spend that money that I have it for different purpose? What about that one too?
Your question again.
The question is, you said when you are hungry and then you have money, of course you have to spend it. And I'm asking that, what if that money has a specific purpose? Why then should I spend it when I know that this money is to be used for something different?
Okay, so I said that with this reason. Would you want to save or hold on with that money and then end up dying with hunger? Okay, so it's different from say that money is for that thing, right? But then you are hungry and then you know you can kind of um hold on a while, you know you'll get something else to eat or another money to. Do you get it? So then you discipline yourself not to go into touch that money. But if there is no hope, nothing is coming, and how long is it going to be? 5 years? 5 years is too much. Maybe a week without food and nobody is giving you money. What will you do in this case? That is why I said that. I don't know if my point is clear to everyone.
Yes, I believe so. Okay, Anita, please.
Yeah, hi, Ahmed. Thank you. You know, in as much as I'm able to pick lessons and to kind of like trace my spending habits to my beliefs, my family, and all of that, I think that sometimes spending is not always absolute. It's not always black and white. Sometimes you just know that this money, if you don't use it to buy food, you don't have any like there is no way you're not going to get food from anywhere. So in situations like that, what would you do? Because let's say that you have money set aside for probably let me use myself as an example. Almost every day I put a little money into my the Achieve by Petra. They have this daily um saving of money. It's called DigiSave, right? But sometimes the money that I put aside, I'm like, oh, put this in DigiSave. You just know that today, where you're expecting food from or where you're expecting to get your bread from, you just know that it's not going to happen. So in that case, it means the money that I have put aside to put in the DigiSave, that's what I'm going to use to buy food. I don't know if you guys are following what I'm trying to say.
It's very clear. So one thing that I think the so-called financial experts don't tell us, most of the people don't say this, is the when you want to go into investing, you don't just start with the little that you have, but then you first have to build enough emergency fund so that if the unexpected happens, then you can pick the emergency fund. So if you build kind of that emergency fund that can take you like 3 months or 6 months, and then you hit a target, then that money is saved somewhere or even in an investment, maybe a mutual fund or something liquid that you can easily get if there is a need, right? Then after, you will now start pushing into the investment that will be long term. But most people don't really communicate this. They will just be like, save, 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 save. So if you are going with this, then meaning that you need money and you can just fetch from your emergency fund, because maybe it's just a one-time thing. It's not something that you plan for. You are hungry and you don't want to go. You don't want to die with hunger, right? So you just pick and then you use right there. But once you are done and then something starts coming again, then you can uh, top up the emergency fund to kind of a level that if there is anything, if you lose your job, you are sick or whatever for a certain number of months, that emergency fund would still be able to cater for you, and you are not going to put your hand or withdraw from the main investment that you are doing. I hope this is clear. But
In that, was
if
that Sebastian?
yes, please.
Right. So, how much is so much for an emergency fund? How
Okay,
much
so
is so
I
much?
wouldn't I wouldn't quantify that, with the reason that, see, you know how much you spend on a daily basis. So at the end of the month, you should know how much expenses you make. That will be different from me. So example, if for me, all I can do is that every day I spend maximum of 50 cedis, it means that at the end of the month, I'm going to spend like 1,005. So if I want to build an emergency fund for, say, 3 months, then for me, that is going to be 1,005 by 3, right? So put it, so that will be 4,500. I should take. So if I'm doing that for 6 months, then I should be getting around 9,000. So for me, my expenses, that is enough for me. But for you, maybe you end up spending 100 cedis a day. You don't use my allocation, my investment, emergency plan for your case. It will not reach, or it will not be enough for you. So you have to know yourself, know your income, know your expenses, basically know your cash flow in and out, and then you know how much to start saving towards your emergency fund.
Because of time, I sincerely hope that in the coming weeks we'll learn more about
Sure.
emergency fund and all of that. Thank you so much.
Sure. They are all part of the 6 weeks, so we'll get it.
Okay, so to this, Amos, to add on to the discussion, I think we have some students among us that are not earning very much. So we have two groups of people within the cohort, right?
Yeah.
And then I believe that the discussion should be in two ways. We can all understand that we've all been students before, and some of us are still students. There are times the tea is not just there, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Very
So
true.
if it is what you have that you needed to eat, my sister, my brother, get it and eat, because you need to live to be able to work in the future, to be able to plan more, right? We are. I don't want the student to feel that the conversation is geared towards a certain group of people who are already working, and for them they are not part of it. But this is also a fertile ground for you to accumulate knowledge enough to be able to start on a very good note once you start making good money, or you start earning some cash. So the students within the cohort, don't feel that the conversation is only geared towards people who are making money, because if the second presenter, please forget me, I forgot your name. If he's saying that if he per his spending, he has to save maybe for 3 months for 9,000, instead of saying 9,000, where will I go and get the 9,000? Probably that explanation is just explaining a certain situation, but within the student somebody who is in level 200, 300, probably not even paying school fees yet. You know that this may be so abstract. So in our discussion also, let's also be mindful that there are students within us who are also not having anything in yet, or who are one way or the other having one or two things, and the discussion should be both sides so that everybody benefits. it's my thoughts though. It's not a must. Though. Thank you very
Oh
much.
yeah. We really appreciate that. And I just remembered when I was a student from 2017 or 20,
Are you serious?
2018 back to 2022. Before you even get 20 CDs from home, it's very hard, right? You call and oh, we are going to send money very soon, and then you don't even receive. So if your roommate is not cooking for
Yes.
you to get some to eat, then you'll just be there looking into the so for such a case, right, every student here, we are not saying that follow exactly what you are doing. So in that case, if you don't have money, you still want to, right? But it's good you are here and then you are getting the knowledge, you are getting the understanding, so that even if you are done with school and you start earning something small, maybe your national service as well, you even know how you are going to carry yourself. Do you get it? Life after school is very different from being a student. Okay, so let's really learn some of these things and then practice them as well. Okay, so yeah, any other person, maybe one last one, then we can end the session for tonight. Is it Patience? Do you have anything to share with us? Hello, Patience. Anything to share with us?
Okay. So if there's nobody coming, I want to take a bit on the on the emergency fund.
Okay.
Uh, it's not a difficult thing to do at all. It's just that once you build a system for your money, you know that when salary comes, this goes to this does that, this does this. Automatically, it flows into all the channels that are supposed to flow in. So if you have that system that works for you, that you know that if it is really a gift, it is really anything that anybody gives you, or a salary or a side hustle. Once you had a system of how your inflow goes out, it becomes easier.
Sure.
I must tell you, building emergency fund is not easy because you are building that thing and there's that money just lying there. A lot of thoughts and temptations comes through. I tell you, I've been through it myself.
It's
So
discipline.
it's yes, yes. Yeah, you see money there that you think you can use to buy some MTN shares, and like that money is there, say it's lying down there for emergency fund. So it's something that is doable, and I believe that once you have a proper system for your money, the emphasis is systems.
Yeah.
It's easier to do. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So there is a session, one of the weeks, we are also going to talk about systems, right? So we told you, as we said, everything is planned, and we are going to really get into a lot of things. So um, let's see you next week, and then we are going to go. Ahmed, you wanted to say something, and then I also want to say that the discussion, this is not the end. We can continue in the WhatsApp community or the WhatsApp group as well. So if anything is not clear, if you have anything to share, anything to add on to everything that we are doing, because of time, we can't be here and then um, sharing everything as well. So we can continue in the group as well. So Ahmed, anything to share?
Oh yes, yes. I don't know if it's possible. I have like two things to say. The first one is we're also supposed to discuss this. So if you can take a screenshot of this, work on it, and then share your input on the page so that we can have discussion. It's just about your financial behavior, self-assessment, your saving discipline out of 10. How would you rate yourself and all that?
Okay. So screenshot taken already. All right, and then the second thing. Hello, Ahmed. Hello, Ahmed. Hello, Ahmed. I think
I think he's done. I
is
think he's done what you want to say, so you can just go ahead.
all right. So thank you everyone for your time, and we are really sorry for taking more than the 1 hour that you wanted to use. But I hope the meeting was very fruitful, and then we all learned something here, right? So we are going to share the workbook right after this, and then if anything is not clear, you have any question, you have any suggestions, the group is open, so you can drop anything you have in there. So we try to attend to everyone. Now when the workbook is shared, just as Ahmed said, Sunday you do it to also share it, so we can also have some time to go through it, and then share our opinions as well before we have the next meeting on Tuesday. So if you don't have anything to ask or say again, then see you all in the group.